Hey everyone, and welcome to Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Today we're going to be doing a viewer request, making a crafter square kit that I got from the Dollar Tree. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are going to be doing a viewer request. This is a crafter square kit. Pre-warning or warning, get this kit at your own risk. These are $1.25, so you are getting what you paid for, and I don't say that in the greatest way possible. Or maybe it is, because it's really bad. So I haven't done the owl yet. I've done a couple of these characters in this series. I've done the turtle, I've done the penguin, and both are in the same format. So we can assume that this owl is going to be in the same format of instructions, and they're horrible. So I'm going to try to help decipher this, and as you know, I do it on the fly. I rarely do these beforehand. The first one I had to do beforehand because I couldn't understand any of it. But now that I've gone through two, I think I have an idea of how it works. I must say the packaging, it seems more kind of legit. In the past, it's just kind of like, I think it's just plastic stapled to something like this. And in the past, they've actually reduced the size of it very, like, you'd only get a small picture of the owl, and that would be it. It'd be attached to this thing. I've never bought that version. I've seen them. But yeah, this one they actually put a pouch, which is, I guess, good, to prevent from anything getting dirty. Here's the instructional booklet. I cannot show the contents of this due to copyright. Not that I think you're going to be copying anything great, but just so that I protect myself and you guys protect yourself as well. Do not dispense any descriptive information about the instructions. But yeah, I'm going to keep that off camera. In this little pouch here, you get your little crochet hook. Okay. And it normally tells the size, but you see how it's from skinny to really thicker at the end? I think it doesn't matter. You would normally like size it based on the crochet hook size, but I'm not a pro like that, so I'm going to assume that it's the same size that they always had given up till like now. I don't even know what that number is. It could either be 2.5, 2.25, or it could be 3.25. My memory. So they also provide you with these oogly eyes, which I feel like I'm going to try to see if I have safety eyes, because you have to glue gun this, or fabric glue. I don't have fabric glue, and I do have a glue gun. I guess I could pull that out. It's just not convenient, especially if you don't have either one. And I don't know if it tells you. See, it doesn't even show the googly eyes. So you're better off doing this. This actually looks cuter than that, I think, because owl eyes are huge. So you're going to have the, moreover, you're going to have the whites of the eyes on top of the whites in the googly eyes and the pupil. So it's a little double craziness there. So, yeah, and they give you this. I don't know, man. Anyway, plastic needle, which won't come down. Okay. Good thing about this needle is that they kind of ball the tip so that you don't hurt yourself. Is there an age restriction on here? No. And I don't think they even say choking hazard. It's crazy. All their packages would say choking hazard. Alright, well, they ball the tips so you don't hurt yourself, but still should supervise your children if they're using this. This hole here, I'm hoping is flexible to fit yarn through it, but the needle itself is very flimsy, so be careful. If you're a heavy hander like I am, you can snap that puppy in half. Poor choice of words there. All right. You also get some spools of yarn here. We have some hot pink, some neon yellow, white, and black. And then we have our stuffing, of course. I'm going to leave this in there so that we can use it at the very end. You don't want this to get dirty. But yes, so in my videos, I pretty much just teach you how to do the stitches step by step 3 times. And thereafter, I'm going to go my normal pace, which is going to be really fast. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me talk, lower the volume on your device and click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so, alright, let's not read this in French. Okay, so it seems like the instructions are the same. You get the first chunk just teaching you general stuff, which makes you think that, oh, this is what I gotta do now. Nope, they're just telling you what you may do, and you may not use every piece in here. So from the chain stitch to the sewing seams, that whole chunk of text is just to teach you how to do what they're doing, and they try to pair it up with these small illustrations on the side. But below that, you're going to have body, head, wing, eye, and mouth, stuff, and then sew the parts together. So we are going to start the body, and they don't specify the color, but based on the photo, the body is pink. I like these. The yarn seems of better quality, by the way, because it feels thicker. In the past, it was very frail, frizzy, and squishy, like thin. So you can get the easier end. That's probably just chilling. The only thing is, when you gather up some feeder yarn, it's going to roll around like this, and we don't really like that. But if you grab the other end that's on the inside, it won't roll around. The only problem is that you have to find that other end. So what I do is I try to find the center, and I try to look in there. Sometimes it's just sitting right there. Other times it's hiding. I check the other side as well. Okay. So now if you can't find the other end, this is what I do. I'm going to grab a random piece here, just this one thing, and I'm going to pull it out. Now I could get lucky and the end could come right out, or I can get unlucky and pull out a huge wad of yarn. Either way, I'm doing it because I'd rather have to deal with, see, it's not rolling around versus what we did earlier. It was rolling around. All you need to do now is just put a little light weight on there so you can keep pulling and it doesn't roll around. Okay, so let me put this under my little weight, and we did pull the other end out. This isn't terrible. This is a good amount of yarn, but it's not like, you know, I've pulled out chunks sometimes. So now we can keep all of this other stuff up and away and focus on the end piece here. Okay, so what happens here is that it tricks you to think you got to do some amigurumi action for the body, and that is not true. I've gotten confused by this in the very beginning, but you can tell when they say row versus round, in that they don't explain. But if you're a seasoned crocheter, when you see a row by definition is a straight line, you know, that kind of, there's a number of them. Round by definition is a circular shape, and that's the kind of the implication of it being amigurumi, because amigurumi is working in a round. Alright, so now that we've done that, let me teach you how to cast on with a slip knot. Let's get this started already. What you're going to want to do is take your pinky ring finger and thumb and hold one end of the yarn. Then you're going to take your index and middle finger and hold apart the other end like this. Okay, then you're going to take your crochet hook, hook side up. We're going to lay this perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around, creating a loop around our hook. We can easily slide the hook up and down. What we want to do though is slide that hook down towards our thumb. I'm going to take my middle finger on my right hand and just hold it where it crosses so that I can let go of my left hand, gather up some feeder yarn. Then I'm going to re-pinch the end here. I want to go as low as possible. The idea is to eliminate the amount of waste you have, because especially for these kits, sometimes they don't give you enough material. So if you can save yarn, even in the small measurement, sometimes it can really help if you're running out of yarn. So let's pinch this down here. I'm going to slide my hook closer to my thumb, and where it crosses, I'm just going to pinch it so I can no longer slide my hook up and down. But I am going to yarn over, so I'm going to take this feeder yarn here and I'm going to put it over the hook, so that's yarning over. And then we're going to pull this strand through this loop using our hook. So pull back on your hook, let it hook that yarn over, and let it pull through that loop. Okay, so from here, I'm going to overhand my hook. Okay, so my hand is over, and as opposed to under, like a pencil, I guess, I don't know, overhand. Then we're going to re-pinch this end, make sure we have a good hold on it, and I'm going to push this knot towards the left thumb. Push it so that you can, either hit the thumb and you can no longer move it anymore, or tighten up the knot to where you can't tighten it up anymore. Once you get to either of those end results there, you can take your thumb and middle finger, and we're just going to pull this excess piece just to tighten up this knot. You don't have to pull it a lot. You just pull it a little bit to get it nice and snug. Then from here, I'm going to grab my knot and I'm going to slide it closer to my hook, leaving a good amount of space because now we have to do some work here. All right, go ahead and Go ahead and gather up some more feeder yarn. I mean, you don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it. YouTube, how to hold your feeder yarn. It'll show you daintier ways to do it. But anyway, all right. So now for this first part here, it's gonna want you to do chain stitches. So that's the first group on the very top. It tells you in text how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it, or at least the way that I do it. You can follow how the instructions do it, or you can follow how I do it. So you're going to hold your knot here to stabilize your project. You need that in order to maneuver your hook. But we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull this through the loop, and that is a chain stitch. And a chain stitch consists of 3 loops. If we look at it on this side, here's 1, here's 2. If we look at it in the front, we have this little loop in the back. So in total, a chain stitch has 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's do this again. You're going to want to yarn over, and then we're going to pull this strand through the loop, creating another chain stitch that consists of 3 loops. 1, 2, and 3. All right, one more time with you guys. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull this through the loop, creating a third chain stitch that is made up of 3 loops. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now that I've shown you how to do a chain stitch 3 times step by step, and I am going to be putting chapters in here for you to navigate through this video a lot easier. I'm just going to go ahead and finish the number of loops, and I'm not using the technical terms because they didn't. So I'm calling out the words as you'll see it in the instructions, but I'm going to finish the rest of the loops for this first row, and then I'll come back in and show you what to do next. All right. Okay, so now that we've finished the loops for the first row, this is where I get a little confused because it doesn't specify if we're straight away going into the second round or we're creating our single crochet stitches, because essentially we're doing single crochet stitches, but they don't label it here. Okay, and they're talking about double crochet. So let me just check this real quick to see what kind of stitches, because the photo is showing single crochet stitch, the text is showing double. So let me just double check. Okay. So I did read it again, and it's just saying this, the illustration is an example showing double crochet stitch, but the photos, just being an experienced crocheter, that is definitely a single crochet stitch. So in the world of crocheting now, we have our chain stitches here. We have to build the height of the row, and if you're doing a single crochet stitch, universally that's 1 chain. So I can give you that piece of information because that's pretty much universal to the knowledge of crochet. So when we do our single crochet stitch, we're not going to work the first chain. It says that these instructions are, they keep in mind the height that you have to use. So let's hope for the best, because I think in my other video, I think I added a chain stitch because I didn't believe that. But anyway, so we're going to skip the first chain. We're going to put our hook into the second chain because the first chain's the height. The second chain is the actual single crochet stitch. And I showed you that there's 3 loops in a chain. You have 1 here, 1 on top, you turn on its back side, and there's this hump back here. So what I do is I like to put my hook into the back hump. That's just gonna preserve the nice braid we have going on here. I don't like messing with that. Even if they have you sew it and you don't see it in the end later, it doesn't matter. I always just like doing it this way. So skip a chain. Into the second chain, put your hook into that back hump, the back loop. So just slip it in there like that. So if you turn it upside down, you can see the braid. It's still intact. You flip it up top and it just looks like 1 loop. Make sure you get all the yarn though. The yarn quality does feel better, but it's still not the greatest, so it's easily splittable with the hook. Anyway, now we're going to finish the single crochet stitch. So we're going to yarn over. You're going to pull up a loop just through this one right here. So we have 2 loops left. You're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through both loops. So that was a single crochet stitch. So if you see that one chain stitch, it kind of is doing a 90-degree now, and it's making the height for this single crochet stitch. All right. So the other issue for oh, so not yet. So we're going to take this first row, and like I said, this is where it gets confusing because it doesn't specify really if the chains are considered row 1 or if you're adding single crochet stitches to make that row 1. So I'm just going to make that row 1. Yes, they may not provide you enough yarn, but you're better off, like, there's nothing that's going to hurt you if your owl is longer versus short. You know, it'll be easier to sew together if it's bigger. So we're just going to take round 1 and add these single crochet stitches. So let's do this again. Now we can go right into the next stitch because we already built the height. So into the next stitch, turn it on its back side. We're going to put the hook into the back hump. You're going to yarn over and we're going to pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now you have 2 single crochet stitches. One more time. So into the next stitch, we're going to go into the back loop. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So we have 3 single crochet stitches. So now that I've shown you how to do a single crochet stitch 3 times step by step, I'm just going to continue the rest of the row here. Again, I am dividing up my video into chapters so that's better or at least easier to navigate. But yeah, I'm just going to finish this row. Alright, when you get to that last stitch, you have an opportunity to hide this excess piece. So I'm sticking my hook into that last loop. I'm going to lay down this excess piece over the crochet hook like that so that I can work a single crochet stitch around it. So now I have it done like this. Alright, so this is why I don't trust it. So we actually have 1 less loop than the number we started out with because we skipped 1 for the height. But now for row 2 we have to actually increase our loops by 3. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So, what you're going to want to do, and this is universal too, when you do rows, you're going to yarn over and chain 1. We're going to turn the project, so we're just going to turn it. If this is the front, we're just turning it to the back. Because now we have all these stitches we can work on. So, from here, I'm going to want to do... let's do an increasing stitch because we have to get to that number for row 2. So stick your hook into that first stitch, and an increasing stitch pretty much is 2 single crochet stitches in this 1 stitch. So let me show you how to do that. Let's do a single crochet stitch, and then once you're done with that, stick your hook back into that same hole. And then you're going to do another single crochet stitch. And so that's it. You're increasing your stitch by 2. Well, you're doubling it. So if you had 1, you do 2 single crochet stitches for an increasing stitch. So from here, I'm going to get midway of my row. Okay. Doing single crochet stitches. All right. And then we're going to do another single crochet stitch. So into the next stitch, let's do our increasing stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. All right, so now I'm going to go to all the way down to the very end, because the very end we are going to do a increasing stitch. All right. So now from here, we're increasing our stitches by 1. So what I'm going to do is turn the project. I'm going to chain 1 for my height, and I'm going to do, let's do the first stitch here. We're going to do an increasing stitch. So that's 2 single crochet stitches, and I'm just doing that because it's just, you know, it's out of the way. You get it done, it's out of the way, because we are increasing our row by 1. So from here, after you do your increasing stitch, we're just going to go back to single crochet stitches down to the end. Right, and then so for row 4 we are increasing 1 more stitch, so we're going to be doing an increasing stitch, but before we do that we got to do the chain 1 and turn. That's universal. All right, then from here we're going to do our first stitch, and that's going to be an increasing stitch. So again, 2 single crochet stitches in here. And then we're just going to do single crochet stitches all the way down. All right, and then after you do the 4th row, it says up till row 6 we're going to do the same number of stitches. So we're not increasing or anything, we're just going to do straight single crochet stitches. One thing they don't include are these stitch markers. I highly recommend that you get these. If you don't have them, I do have a couple of stores on my Amazon storefront. I didn't purchase them from those sellers. I just chose them because they were a high star rating. You don't have to use those sellers. You can use them as kind of like an example if you want to do your own search, but you can find these in a hobby store. These ones that I have here have either been gifted to me, or most of them actually have been in other kits that I had made. So just be aware of that. But I do have a ton of them, so they definitely help you out. But I'm going to use them to keep track of the number of rows that I have to do. Essentially, we're just doing 2 more rows. But you know, you never know what could happen. You can get distracted by things. You probably have, you know, you might have some things that you have to take care of, a phone call. So it's always good to keep these stitch markers, and what you do to them is you take the little pointy ends, they're like little plastic safety pins, you stick them under the loops of the stitch. So you see how we have braids on top here? You're just going to put it under the front and the back loops that make this braid, and you want to make sure that you're not splitting the yarn. So if you look at it, it looks nice and clear. You can then close it, and this is going to indicate that this is going to be around 5. So we got to do our chain 1 for the height, then we got to turn, and then we're going to do straight single crochet stitches across. Wow, I just reread those instructions. Horrible. Really? So it's saying that for row 14 that we just, row 4 that we just did, we're going to keep the same amount of stitches till round 6, but then it says to the 18th row. So I don't know why they did that. So we're pretty much doing this to the 18th row, because I'm like, oh, what are we doing after this? It seems kind of short right now. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so we're pretty much going to the 18th row, and you need 2 pieces of these. All right, well, I just pulled out 2 stitch markers. We're going to need a lot more than that. Let me just finish this first because I already talked about it. Yeah, so I'm reading these instructions as we go, which I should read ahead, but that's just a lot for me. I put another stitch marker. I put it underneath the braided loops here, the front and back loop. I'm going to pull this to see if I have a nice clean opening next to the stitch marker. That means I didn't split my yarn, which is a good thing. If you split it, just redo it. But we're going to do chain 1 for the height, and then we're going to continue our single crochet stitches across, and then we're going to collect more stitch markers. So at least you have an example of me placing them, because we have to work through a lot more rows up to row 18. So hopefully you're just like watching this video like as a pass through, like just to see how everything is, and then maybe you could find those stitch markers at a hobby store or at my Amazon storefront. So while you wait, you can kind of you know, just visualize what you're going to be doing with your project, I guess. But yeah, the stitch markers are such a game changer. Alright, so I need to put more stitch markers. We're now on row, we just did row, this was 5, this is 6, so we're going to do 7. So you would just count the number of stitch markers: 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I like to get the ones that are like open wide, so you don't have to spend the time opening them. I have some that are kind of closed like this, and then I have to kind of use my thumb to pry it open. So that's not always like fun to do. So try to find the open ones. Like I said, I just collected these, but you can actually buy them in collections. You can have them all one color, your favorite color, whatever. So that's the good part about just getting them on your own. And I also like to double count. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Alright, so this one I'm going to slip under the last stitch we made, just under the braid, making sure I clear it. This is going to be my row 7. Okay, and then, so basically I can go and do whatever I need to do. All I know is that I'm doing single crochet stitches all the way across, and I have to make sure that I use up all these stitch markers to know that I am done with this section. So what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and complete all these rows for you, and then when in silence, and then when we come back in, I'll show you what to do next to fasten off, because we have to make 2 of these. So let's do that now. Alright, I completed all the rows because I used up all my stitch markers. So this is what we're going to do next to cast off. First, what I want to do, it doesn't say this, but this will be very helpful for sewing your pieces together later. So we're going to take the pink, and what I like to do is measure or wrap around loosely this object, this project piece, twice. So something like this. And then I'm going to cut it off, and this is going to be the length that I'm going to use to sew, because we have to make 2 of these. So to fasten off now, what you're going to do is yarn over. Okay. Then we're going to pull this through the loop, but we're going to pull it all the way out. So make that loop large. Okay, until the whole end comes out. So now it's turned into a loop, and all you have to do is tighten this up to turn it into a knot. So that's fastening off. And if you want, you can take these off. I mean, we're not going to really need them. But what I'm going to do now is do the second piece off camera. It says put together, but I think the best thing to do is just make the 2 separate pieces. And we're going to continue with the head, the wing, the eye, and the mouth, because we have an opportunity to sew pieces together while it's deconstructed, while it's not put together yet. And that's going to help us hide our knots. It's going to make our lives easier sewing the pieces together. And at this point, you can decide whether or not you want to get a glue gun to glue the eyes, or they actually do have another picture in the instructions. They have 2 of them, one with googly eyes, the other one with sewn eyes. I'm going to do the sewn eyes. And I think that's better too, because if you intend on gifting this to a little child, you don't want them to choke on the googly eyes if they come off, especially if you're using some type of glue. You know, you never know if they're going to choke on it or if it's toxic, you know. I'm not in with it now. I'm sure they make glue sticks and glues non-toxic, but I guess you could say I grew up in the era where everything probably had something toxic in it. But yeah, so I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to have another body piece, and we're going to move straight into the head. Alright, so I finished the second part. For this, you don't need to wrap around because we already have enough to sew on this side. So I cut about 1 inch or so, and then I fastened off. We have this done, setting this aside. We're now going to work on to the head, and this is actually how much pink I have left. I could find pink. I thought I was done. Apparently I'm not done. Because we have to do, let's see, 3 rows. So, which is crazy. And you need 2 pieces. Oy vey. They should have just included it in this one. So I am going to figure this out the best way I know how. So we're gonna make some stuff up. Let me show you how to cast on. I almost did it my fast way, but take your ring, pinky, and thumb, hold one end, take your index and middle and hold the other. We're gonna lie our hook perpendicular to the yarn, and we're gonna go down, out, and around to create a loop around our hook. You can slide it up and down, slide it down towards your thumb. I'm going to take my middle finger on my right hand and just place it where it crosses so that I can let go of my left and gather up some feeder yarn. I'm going to pinch down here closest to the end, and we're going to slide that down towards the thumb, and where it crosses I'm just going to pinch it so I can no longer move it up and down. We're going to yarn over, and then I'm going to slide this through the loop. I'm going to overhand my hook, repinch my end, and we're going to push this knot towards the left thumb to tighten it and once you get to the point where you can't push it down anymore, then take your middle and thumb and just pull out that excess piece to make the knot nice and snug. And after you do that, we can slide that up closer to the hook. I want to see how much I can do with this, but I'm definitely going to need more yarn. Comment below, let me know if you ran out. Again, like I said, even if I didn't use all this to sew, which you're going to need to sew, otherwise if you use another color, it's going to look very different. It still wouldn't have been enough for 2 pieces of this head. So, sorry about that, you guys, but I didn't pack it. I think you're better off getting, when you get these kits, they should have a yarn section. If they don't, you can always go online or go to Walmart or a hobby store and just get a full skein of yarn. Because 1, you can make it the color that you want. 2, you can make it the texture that you want, because there's so many textures of yarn, and it'll be of higher quality. Okay, so let's make the number of chains that they want us to make. So I'm going to do that now. If you need help making the chains, again, I'm putting my videos now in chapters, so you're able to go back real quick to the chapter that you need, so you don't have to rewind this video, you know, manually, I guess. And on the other end of it, I don't know why they have you making more chains than the body is, because we're sewing this to the head. I guess we have to sew around the head. I think that's the thing. All right, fine. Oh man, yeah, this is how I react. So, and it's late, so it's not full-blown anger at this moment. So I'm right there with you. Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to do 2 rows of single crochet stitches, and then the 3rd row I'm going to attempt to make this edging that they so, you know, in detail explained, and that was total sarcasm. So again, what we do with the single crochet stitch, we're going to skip 1 chain to make the height, and then we're going to put our hook into the 2nd chain. I'm going to go and use the back loop to make our single crochet stitches, and we're just going to work our way across. So this is going to be row 1. I hope at least I can do one side with this color. So the back side could be, you know, I'll find my own pink. It may not match, but at least it's, you know, if I have one good side, I could put that in the front, and then the other side, I can have multiple colors, and they won't really notice it unless they look behind it. Oh, and I'm already at the end. So when I get close to the end, I am gonna pause this video. You're not gonna even notice. I want to come back with my own pink, and yes, it might look different. Okay, once we finish this first row, we're going to chain 1 like we do with the height, and we're going to start the 2nd row. Okay, so I'm going to be right back. Alright, so actually this is right on top. I think I made a whale with this. Anyway, this one's by Loops and Threads. This is acrylic yarn. It is skinnier than this thread we're working with, but as far as color, it's not that bad. In my eyesight, not through camera, this one is a little lighter, but very close. Very close. In camera, very close. So, if this happens to you, which I'm sure it will with the Crafter Square kits, just put these two pieces together and we're just gonna like, is this called like a bunny ear knot? I don't remember. But just tie them together like this. Okay. And we're just gonna crochet in whatever side it ends up in. We're just gonna have to use that when we, in the inside, when we close the two pieces together, so you don't see that knot. All right, let's get back to this. We're gonna do single crochet stitches, and I'm hoping to do this whole thing in one video, but I forget that these Crafter Square kits really just take a while to do. You know, I've been having comments like, how long does this really take 2 hours? No, it takes longer because I do edit. Believe it or not, I edit a little bit of seconds because I try to show the whole thing, but at the same time I'm trying to rush this thing because, one, I don't ever sit through one project all at once. It normally takes me weeks, if not months, to finish one thing. But for you guys, I try to finish it in one video. So if this thing doesn't get any longer than 2 hours, it will be in one video. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to split it, which is not what I like to do. I like to put it all on. But sometimes the editing and sometimes YouTube doesn't like long videos. They do, but they don't. It doesn't handle it. It takes forever to upload. It takes forever to produce. So it's just it's difficult. Okay, so we did the second row. The third row is the row that I'm gonna try to do the edges. Now, I normally, again, don't mention any numbers because, you know, due to copyright, like I said, but we're gonna spill some numbers because this is redonkulous. I'm just trying to divide this out. Okay. All right. So this is what we're gonna do, you guys. Gathering up some yarn here. We're going to let's chain yeah, I guess we can chain 3. Okay, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now this is going to be universal to crocheting, because what we're going to do next, you're going to learn some new stitches. You might like it, you might not like it, but I don't know any other way to make these edges because it didn't even say how. Let's do 2. I don't want you to learn something crazy. Just do 2 stitches. All you got to do is go back 1 or unravel 1 chain. So we have 2. 1, 2. We're going to turn the project. This 2 chain is universal to make the height of a double crochet stitch. So I believe they might actually tell you how to make a double crochet stitch. Nope, they don't. Okay, well, here we go. You're going to yarn over. Then we're going to go into the first stitch here. Stick that through. We're going to yarn over again. Pull that through the loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay, so in case you missed that, let's do this again. So yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. We're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Okay. So now we're going to learn how to do a half double crochet stitch. So yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. That's a half double crochet stitch. Let's do that again. Yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. All right. Then we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So let's do that into the next stitch. So you see it's kind of doing a little dip. All right, so let's see. How many did I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now I'm going to be doing, let's see. All right, let's do a half double crochet stitch. So yarn over, go into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. All right. Then we're going to be doing 3 double crochet stitches. So yarn over, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through only 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. Let's do this again. Yarn over, into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. One more time. Yarn over, into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then I'm going to do a half double crochet stitch. Oh, why did I not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness, I cannot count to save my life, but that is right. No, that's wrong. All right, we did 3. Don't shoot me because I'm learning this on the fly. It doesn't say it in the instructions. We're going to remove 1 double crochet stitch. I did my numbers wrong. I can't do this at night. So what you do is remove your hook. We're just going to undo 1, so slowly pull your stitches apart. And then we're going to stick our hook into this loop here. Like it never happened. It's not that big of a deal. We're all learning this at the same time. Alright, so we're going to do a half double crochet stitch. So yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over again, pull through a loop, and then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. And I'm seeing what I did wrong, but that's okay. Okay, so then we're going to do a single crochet stitch. So into the next stitch, put in your hook. Oh, you know this part. Single crochet stitch. Okay. Now we need to do 2 half double crochet stitches and 3 double crochet stitches. So you should know how to do it by now, but I'm going to walk you through it because I'm making this up on the fly. Again, not in the instructions. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet stitch. So yarn over and pull up a loop, so we have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, let's do another half double crochet stitch, yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Alright, so now we're going to do double crochet stitches. So yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through another 2 loops. Let's do this again. Yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And one last time, double crochet stitch, yarn over, put into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So it's kind of there. I think we probably should have done a slip stitch instead of a single crochet stitch, but it is close enough. This is more than they gave you, which was nothing. It's so sad. For this though, you do need to have extra yarn. Wrap it around twice, and I know that you may not have yarn, but you have to figure something out, because we have to sew it together. I guess you can, if you ran out, you could really just try to use the yarn that we used here, but it'd be safer if you can do that. Again, I recommend getting your own spool of yarn. Alright, to fasten off, we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop all the way out. Then we're going to tighten up this loop. Okay. Now I'm going to do another one of these. So if you need help making this head, again, I'm dividing my video into chapters. Go into the description box and just click on the section that you need. When we come back in, we're gonna just do the pieces. So we're gonna come back and do the wing. All right, so I finished this second part, and again, I did exactly what I did to the other one. Just looking at it now, I feel like we could have maybe done the treble clef. A treble clef. This is not music. Triple crochet or treble crochet stitch. It would have been taller, and then we should have done slip stitch at the dips so that it'd be more dramatic. But I think this is okay. Anyway, so now we're going to move on to the wing, and we're going to get the yellow for this. I don't feel like I need a dig in here. Oh, I can see. I'm going to try to open the middle and try to get that piece. Okay. Put some weight on it. I think that might be a little too much weight. Alright, so let's do the wing. So, I'm going to show you this one more time because we've already done this 2 times, but we're going to cast on using a slip knot. So, use your ring, pinky, and thumb, hold one end, use your index and middle, and hold the other. We're going to lie our hook perpendicular to the yarn. Then we're going to go down, out, and around. To create a loop around our hook, we can slide our hook up and down. Slide it down towards your thumb, take your middle finger and hold it down where it crosses so that you can let go of your left hand. And we're going to gather up some yarn here. Repinch the end as low as you can go, and then slide your hook towards your thumb, and where it crosses, just pinch the yarn so that you can no longer slide your hook up and down. Then we're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through a loop, and then I'm going to overhand the hook, repinch the end, and we're going to push the knot towards the thumb till it's tightened up. And just to make sure that it's snug, take your middle and thumb and pull out the excess piece, And then we're going to slide this towards the hook. Right, and then we're going to start doing this. So this time we're in the rounds. I'm learning real quick that it's not amigurumi. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our chain stitches. So crochet the number of stitches that we're supposed to have in the instruction. And then we're going to do our single crochet stitches. So again, skip a stitch. We're going to do a single crochet stitch in the back hump after we skip a stitch. So this will be in the second stitch, and I'm just going to continue doing the single crochet stitches all the way down. All right. So then what we're going to do, we're going to go in for the second round here. And what it's telling us is that we're pretty much going to double the number from the first round, although we are -1 from the last round, but we're still going to double the original count. So we're going to do single crochet stitches. What you're going to do now is we're just going to go directly into the next stitch. So what we did was we went one way to do our single crochet stitches. We're actually just going to flip this upside down so that we can make a continuous round. Okay, and if you want, you can also put a stitch marker at the last stitch you made so you know where you need to end up. But this is going to require some increasing stitches. So if you look at your piece here, we pretty much have, we're going to have to add 2 increasing stitches. Yeah, 2 increasing stitches. I'm going to start that in this side here. So do an increasing stitch. And then do the remaining single crochet stitches on this underside, since we flipped it upside down. Then when we turn, we're going to do another increasing stitch. And then we're going to do single crochet stitches up to the stitch marker. So make sure you do your counts. They should equal the number that the instructions is telling you. I'm going to remove this stitch marker, place it under the last stitch we made. So now we have to do round 3, and it's going to be a double count from the last stitch last round we made. So in each stitch we're going to do an increasing stitch. Okay, so let's do that now. Go into every stitch all the way around and do 2 single crochet stitches in each stitch to make it an increasing stitch. All right, when you've reached that stitch marker, you can remove it. All right. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to count back the stitches that we need for this wing. Okay, put your hook into that last stitch, and then we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through all the loops off your hook. So we have our first wing here. We're going to do a fastening off. So for this, we're going to go around twice so that we can sew the wing to get to the body. Yarn over, pull through the loop all the way out, tighten it up, and we have one wing. So I'm going to go off camera and we're going to do one more of these. Alright, so here's actually how much yellow I have left. I wish this was in pink so I could have finished the head with the same color. It's not too bad though. Like I said, it's the shading is really similar, so. But yeah, we're gonna do the eyes, and there's two of them. So I am actually, I can see the other end coming out here. I want to see if I can kind of backtrack it and get it through the center. I just have to see. Here we go. And then this outside tail, we're just gonna wrap around a couple of times. Use my little weight here. Hopefully it works because this is small, but just pulling on this yarn. I think now we're gonna do the amigurumi because I'm looking at the photo and it looks like a perfectly round spiral thing. I mean, they may have actually closed it off, but I think I'm gonna do a continuous spiral. So this is how you do amigurumi. We're going to wrap this around our finger 3 times. Little overage so that we can put our middle finger right on there. Then I'm going to straighten out my strands. I can loosen them or tighten them as I need. But I'm going to slip my crochet hook underneath these 3 strands. I'm going to pull it back out, but I'm going to hook this strand and pull it underneath these 2. So hook it. Turn your hook to the side so that you can slip it underneath the next 2 strands without hooking them. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull the strand through the loop to close it off. Then we're going to let go of our middle finger, pull the rings off your index, and then we're going to start this amigurumi. So make the number of single crochet stitches it tells you to for the first round. So I'm going to do that now. And they're calling it crochet loops. So in case we haven't picked that one up yet. Okay. So once you've done the crochet stitches, single crochet stitches, I'm going to overhand the hook. I'm going to hold gently the bottom of these stitches. I need to hold it gentle enough so I can still pull this piece right here. As we pull this, we're going to see which one of these 2 loops goes inside the ring first. So pull it. All right. Now this loop is the one that went inside first. What you want to do is pull this end out of that ring, and as we do that, we're going to see this other loop disappear. So keep pulling this side out and you're going to see that other loop is slowly going into that magic ring. Once it's all the way in, we're going to take our excess piece and you're going to pull that till the other ring is gone. Alright, and then since we're doing, I've declared a spiral round. Oops, I dropped my scissors. I'm going to mark where the last stitch I made is so we know where we should end up. Okay, but I'm going to follow the next steps. So for round 2, we're pretty much doubling our stitch count. So we're going to be doing an increasing stitch in each one of these stitches. So from the hook, count back your stitches that were in round 1, stick your hook into that last stitch, and we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this stitch here. So 1, stick your hook back into that stitch, and let's do a second one. So we just completed an increasing stitch. Let's do this again. 2 single crochet stitches, and we're just pretty much doing this all the way around. Back to the stitch marker. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to remove this stitch marker, and we're going to put it under the last stitch we made. Okay, then we're going to just double check our count. So I would count from the hook the number of stitches required for this round, and then we're also going to start the next one, and we're pretty much doubling the number again. So put your hook into that last stitch, and again we're going to do increasing stitches all the way around. Alright, I'm going to transfer this stitch marker to the last stitch that we made. And for this final round, I believe round 4, we're going to double this count now. So again, we're going to do increasing stitches on each stitch. Just count back though to make sure you have your stitch count, and also so that you know where you're going to put your hook. These are really big eyes. All right, so let's just double check that count. All right, so that is the end of this eye. We're going to do a slip stitch. So into the next stitch, do your slip stitch, yarn over and pull through everything. Let me go pick up my scissor. We're going to cut about 1 inch or so. Ugh. No, we're not. That's a bummer. Well, we'll figure it out. We're going to yarn over and pull through the loop all the way out. In their old instructions, they used to tell you to leave room for a tail to sew. I'm just going to tie these two together and we'll figure it out with the needle. We need enough to sew the eye on. Okay, so again, I'm just going to wrap around this object 2 times loosely. So we can sew that. For time purposes, because I am just going to go ahead and do another eye anyway, so I might as well show you this part if I can get it untangled. I mean, they just decided to knot it really well. Okay. Now I need enough to make the eyes. So let's get in here with our needle. And again, you can use the oogly eyes if you want. I'm not going to bother with them. Then I have to whip out my glue gun and I don't want to have to do that. But we have to slip this into the eyelet hole. And it is flexible, I think, so I think you can. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slip my hook into this needle. I'm going to hook the yarn. And then I'm going to pull it out. Okay. Now let's make these eyes. We just have to make a V. So let's do this. Put it through one side here. Leave enough so that you can tie a knot. But there isn't enough black, so make sure you don't need too much back there. But I'm going to do my little V. And then I'm going to double knot this. Like I said, rather than putting this together piece by piece, we have this opportunity to sew these details on while it's not sewn onto the owl. That way, when we actually do sew everything, we can hide all these excess pieces and tie our knots where we need to tie it. So, all right, when we come back, I'm going to have the second eye done with the eyes, and then we're going to work on the last piece, which is the mouth. So here's the second eye that we have. I did cut the tail this time so we can sew the eye in place. But this is how much white we have left. I'm now going to pick up the yellow again because we are going to do the mouth. I was going to say beak, but they have it down as mouth, so. All right, we're going back to rows. So I've already shown you how to cast on with the slip knot 3 times, so I'm just going to quickly go through this again. If you need help, go through the description box and click on the chapter that you need to cast on with the slip knot. But we're going to move on to the first row, and we are going to do our chain stitches. So do your chain stitches, okay, and then we're going to do these single crochet stitches. So remember, we need 1 for the height. And we're going to do a single crochet stitches. And I want to say this looks like it's wrapping around again like we did with the wings. So once you get your single crochet stitches here, I'm going to mark the last stitch that I made. And we are going, for the next row, we're going to do 2 increasing stitches. So let's turn this upside down and let's do 1 increasing stitch. Okay, and then you're going to do your single crochet stitch. And then we're going to do another increasing stitch. And then at the marker, we're going to do a single crochet stitch. Okay, then remove your stitch marker. We're going to put it under the last stitch we made. Now for the next row, we're going to add 3 more stitches, so we're going to have to pick 3 single crochet stitches. So we're going to count back the number of stitches that we're supposed to have for the second round, and we're going to stick our hook into that last stitch. We are going to do an increasing stitch. And then you do your single. I'm going to do every other increasing stitch. So single crochet stitch, then back to increasing stitch, back to single crochet stitch, back to increasing stitch, and then last one is going to be single crochet stitch. Okay, remove the marker. And then that will be it. It's going to curl in, which is kind of natural. So we just want to make sure that the pretty side is curling out. So you'll probably have to just push it outward. But I am going to do a slip stitch. So count the number of stitches you're supposed to have for that last row. Stick your hook into that last stitch and do a slip stitch. That's yarn over and pull through everything. So before we cut this off, we have to measure the amount of yarn, but I'm going to go 3 times around it loosely because I want to make sure, this is such a small piece that I want to make sure I have enough to sew. This is the leftover yellow. But I'm going to yarn over. We're going to pull through the loop all the way out, then pull this piece to tighten up that knot, and now we have our beak. Alright, so now what we have to do is sew everything together, and I'm going to actually sew the head to the body first. Oh, did I not cut? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's getting late, you guys, and I'm really not thinking right now. Wait. Oh no. Okay. So, let's focus on this piece. One side I have the tail, which I'm going to thread up my needle. I'm going to sew this to the body. Now you just have to be cognizant of pretty sides and wrong sides. I mean, you really just have to find the side that looks more perfect than the other, because that's the side that's going to be exposed. All right, so this bottom taper is for the bottom. This wider part is for the top. We are going to hide this. Looking at this, I think that the prettier side should be this side, so I'm going to face that out. Then you do the same with this one. The knot is right here, so I got to tuck that in the inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew these two pieces together like this. But what we have to do first, I'm going to weave this in and out of the side so that we can get this down. To where these stitches are. All right, so we know that there's probably 2 more stitches more. I don't know, there's probably 1 stitch more. Let's see. Yeah, there's actually 1 stitch more than this one, which in reality there isn't. There's supposed to be 2. But what I'm going to do is kind of best line this up to make it nice and even. And I'm going to sew these pieces together. Again, just make sure the wrong side is on, the 2 pieces of the wrong side are all on the same side. And of course with these kind of needles, it's really flimsy, so be careful with it. And any excess pieces we're going to hide anyway, so just make sure they stay on the wrong side of your project as well. But once we reach the other side, then we're kind of good. You can actually tie your pieces together so that we can get rid of this tail here and secure our parts together. Okay, just double knotted it. We can tuck this in when we sew the pieces together, but here is one side of the owl. I'm going to do the other side when we come back. All right, so I have the other part sewn. Okay, let's work with this and put the face on there. Actually, let's look at both good sides and see which one is the prettier side of it. I mean, I feel this side is prettier, but this is the side, I don't know if you can tell, that has the different yarn. So this side is just gonna have to be the normal side. And so I'm gonna look at the, well, the picture clearly looks different from everything, so let's sew on the beak. We're gonna try to center everything. And I think the eyes are just way too big. But we're gonna make it work. Okay, thread this up. Okay, so we're gonna put the beak about here. And you want to place it in the center. So I'm just eyeballing everything. There is a little cavity for this nose, so if you want, you can definitely put a little ball of stuffing in the mouth, the beak. And as I'm sewing it, I'm going to try to shape it at the same time. You can control this by where you put your needle. But I'm just going to go through this, and I'm going to leave a little hole, a little side flap open so I can put a little ball of stuffing. And luckily it's already in these little balls that I can just slip this in here. And this is going to give it a little 3D effect. Okay, and make sure you got that tucked in. You don't want to accidentally sew through it, because you'll see it, you'll end up seeing it in your project. And once you've gone all the way around, you can tie this off on the wrong side. And so that is what I was getting at with this. Like, if you sewn all the pieces together when it told you to, you wouldn't be able to hide these pieces as easily as we are going to. Okay, and I'm just going to leave this as stuffing. This is all going to be added for stuffing. But next we're going to do the eye. So let's do one here. kind of messed up the yarn there. All right. Then we got to center this eye, and it looks like it's gonna just be weird because these eyes are just really big. I think it was good with 3 rounds instead of 4, but I'm just gonna overlap the beak, I guess. But what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna make it work, and we are gonna sew the eyes in all the way around. I'm going to do one eye, and then off camera I'm going to do the other, just for video time purposes. I'm going to try not to sew into these extra ones. If I were to do this all over again, I definitely would make the eye smaller. This is really crazy big. Right, once you're all the way around, you can use these extra pieces to tie a knot. I'm going to double knot it. Okay, and again, when we come back in, the other eye is going to be sewn, and then I think I'm going to do the little marks on the body along with the feet, and then we'll put the body together. Getting there. All right, let's do our little marks, but I'm going to start with the feet. I want to make sure that I get the feet. So I'm just going to pick 2 spots, and I'm going to leave. I don't have much yellow. I am going a little nuts and pulling all of this out from the remaining yellow that I have left. But I am going to leave a bit so I can tie a knot. But I'm going to be making my feet. So we're going to do 3 lines here. So my 3 lines like that for the foot, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Oops. It's too low. Okay. Then I'm going to do my little markings, and they look like little triangles of some sort, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to do 3 more on top. Okay, we have our markings, and I'm going to tie this to this end here. Double knot. I'm going to triple it. Okay. Oh, we'll leave it as. No, this is a lot. Cut about an inch or so. I have a lot of yellow left. I can use it for something else. Alright, we are almost there. I'm going to put the wings last because I would need to get the body shape in order to place them right. So I'm going to take all this excess piece here, just coil it up into this one side. Let's take that tail from the other side, and we're going to load up our needle. Okay, we're going to make sure we have the prettier side on the side that we want. Line up our pieces, and we're just gonna straight up sew. I think I'm going to leave the head open. So line up your body this way, and we are going to start sewing the sides together. If you run out of tail, you can always just get more yarn. Okay, so I'm pretty much at the head now. And before I finish off sewing the rest, I'm going to just start filling my owl. And I like that it's annoying, but I like that it's separated into small pieces, because then you can manipulate them to go where you need it to go. So I'm just going to start stuffing the bottom here. And I would love to put the wings on beforehand so I can hide those stitches, but you really need the body to be filled so that you can make sure the wings are even when you put them on. Okay, so there's our little owl. We're just going to sew the tops together. And again, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not sewing into the stuffing, because you'll rip it in, you'll make it come out of the project and it's going to end up looking sloppy. Okay, once you're back around, you can find your moment to tie your knot. So to hide this now, what we're going to do, you're going to stick your needle right where it's knotted, and then you're going to randomly come out the other end anywhere, and then we're going to cut this flush. You can squeeze the project to hide that piece. So now we have our owl almost done. Oof, this is a long one. All right, let's put on our wings. Okay. Now they've got it about a ways near the eye, so I'm going to place this here, and you don't have to sew the entire thing. I'm just going to secure the top. once you get the tops, I'm just going to use one stitch on each side to secure the wing to the body. And then once I've secured the tops, I'm going to find my moment underneath the wing to tie my knot so I can hide it better. Then again, I'm going to go in where that knot is, come out randomly on the other side, cut this yarn flush, couple of squeezes, put the wing down. Now off camera, I'm just gonna do the other wing and we'll come back for the end results. All right, you guys, so this is my owl, and this is what it's supposed to look like. But you can clearly see that this was photoshopped, so don't beat yourself up if it's not looking right. I mean, mine looks like someone just killed my owl. But if you look at the instructions, the googly eyes that they use is a lot bigger than the eyes that they gave us. So there's just no way. And that's why I don't prefer these kits, because they're unrealistic. The instructions are terrible, and the outcome is not the same. And it's really, you know, if you don't know Photoshop very well, it's very deceiving and it's not right. And I get that it's $1.25, but you really need to. This company, they had a point of time where they had 6 kits out and it was really good. The instructions were good. You had enough material. It wasn't bad. And then this happens. I started getting these via email request because they couldn't decipher it, and I honestly had to try a number of times before I figured out what they wanted you to do. So we already did 3 of these kits. I believe there may be 2 or 3 more. I can't remember. So if you have a request, leave a comment below. If you don't want to wait for me to find the kit, I would recommend taking a clear image and sending that to me via email. And also, I do have memberships, so if you want to go and check out those perks, I highly recommend you do that, because you know, there's a lot more help you can receive, and you know, it's a more direct contact there. So anyways, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. I don't even know how long this video is going to be, and it's so late, and I'm just really tired. But click that like button if you at least attempted this owl. Click that like button if you like that I actually was able to complete the owl. Otherwise, I will see you again for other kits. Thank you so much for watching. This is Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.